Oh, yeah. Hello, and welcome to the first ever StevensvilleGamers podcast. Basically, my idea behind this is to have less gaming related stuff on the channel because we are a gaming channel after all, and to just have an outlet to sit down and talk about whatever I want to talk about, whatever other people would like me to talk about. So if you have some topic suggestions, I would strongly suggest joining the Discord. The link to join the Discord is in the description down below. So join that Discord. Talk to all the wonderful, amazing, helpful people in there. And give me some podcast ideas. And before we get into it as well, I want to say thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure to subscribe for more podcasts like this one, actually, specifically this one, every Sunday, coming out at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Plan to do this weekly, as well as 3 gaming videos a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Like I said, I'm planning to do this podcast weekly, but I figured to start things off, because of the spontaneous growth over the last couple of months due to the current COVID outbreak, people staying inside a lot more, people not being able to do a whole bunch of stuff, I feel like has driven even more traffic to the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel, and has given me more time to focus on those two things. So the content's been getting better, so there's a bunch of new people on the channel is basically what I am trying to say. And because of that, I figured for the inaugural first episode of the Stevensville Gamers podcast, we'd talk about a brief history of Stevensville Gamers and try to do this within about an hour and a half, because there is 7 years to go through and over 800 videos uploaded to this YouTube channel as of the day that I am recording this. There will be like 2 more by the time this comes out, maybe 3 more. But yeah, let's get into it, shall we? So, Stevensville Gamers started back in June of 2013. We just celebrated a couple days ago, or maybe a week or so by the time this comes out, the 7-year anniversary. The first ever video to be posted on the channel was June 30th, 2013. And from about 2013 all the way up till about the end of 2015, 2016, all of those videos are privated because I feel like they're old. The quality on them is pretty bad. And they involve some people that are, no longer involved in my life as heavily as they were involved with, or not as heavily involved in my life as they used to be. And some people said that they would not really like their face up on the internet as much as it was. So out of respect of that, these have been privated. So yeah, a little bit of backstory. Basically, I went to private school from kindergarten through 5th grade. And I sort of, air quotes, graduated or advanced out of elementary school. And I was going to be put into public school for middle school. And I happened to be a year older and a year ahead of all of my friends that I was going to be going to school with. because I was going to a private school in Annapolis, Maryland, because we used to live in Annapolis, Maryland. And when I was in about second grade, and my parents were expecting my sister, we moved to Stevensville, Maryland, where the channel name comes from. So I met all of these friends that lived in the suburban area. That was right. I had a bunch of friends in the neighborhood. There was a bunch of kids there. The middle school was right down the street. The elementary school was right across from the middle school, and we could walk to both of them. They were so close to us. So there was a bunch of kids around. And I made friends with all of them pretty quickly. And because of that, my parents wanted to send me to middle school in the public school system, but they didn't want me to be in middle school and my friends to still be in 5th grade. So I went to public school 5th grade at the school near me and redid 5th grade. So then I could be in the same school and the same class as all of my friends were. So that's kind of where the story starts. I had all these friends, and then we became even closer, better friends because I started going to school with these people for 4 years, from 5th grade till 8th grade. We would hang out all the time at school. We became very, very close friends. Myself, a friend of mine named Lucas, a friend of mine named David. We're going to call him David L for the story's sake. And a friend of mine named Aiden, and my girlfriend, kind of on and off at the time, named Anna, who is now a transgender male who goes by Christian. So for respect of their pronouns, I will be saying Christian from now on. But that is referencing, at the time, he still identified as female and went by Anna. So when I say Christian, I do mean Anna at the time. So yeah. And for the story's sake of StevensvilleGamers' story's sake, these are kind of the main players. But I had a bunch of other friends that went to the same school that weren't involved with the channel, and other people would get added on at some point as well. So we go through middle school, very nerdy kids. We all played Pokemon. We all played Yu-Gi-Oh! We dabbled in Magic the Gathering. We loved video games. We were a bunch of nerds. I was a little edge boy. I had long emo hair and all the bracelets and all of that kind of stuff. I'm sure you can find photos on Instagram of old photos of me on Instagram and Facebook of just how little emo kid I was. And because of that, we got bullied a lot because of the things that we were interested in and into, which, really sucked. We stood up for one another. We got into altercations at times with some other students. And because of this bullying, because of these seemingly more and more frequent altercations with kids, only once or twice becoming actually physical, it was decided that for high school, I would go back to private school. That was also due to a lot of learning differences that I have as well. Stuff at the time I didn't know, but I had dyslexia or have dyslexia. So I have a really hard time reading. I have a lot of symptoms of ADHD due to sensory processing disorder, which is something else that I have. And the list goes on. So for for high school, it was decided that I would go back to private school. We had already decided on the private school that I would be going to, and all of that kind of stuff was already decided. So when the time came, June 30th of 2013, the summer in between us advancing out of middle school, out of 8th grade, and we were all going to be going into high school, because I would basically be leaving the group. It was decided amongst all of us, hey, let's start a YouTube channel, so we can do something fun and something that we enjoy doing, as a hobby, and we can kind of stay friends and use this YouTube channel as the glue to keep all of these friendships together. Spoiler alert, that didn't necessarily work. So me and my friend Aiden, who was the little brother of Lucas, who was originally my friend. Lucas is the same age as me. And I became even stronger friends with his younger brother. And at the time, it wasn't weird. He was like, 11 or 12, or he was like maybe 10 or 11, maybe 12. And we all were like 14, 15-ish. So it wasn't weird to be friends with his little brother. And he became, along with myself, the main figures on the channel. And in the beginning, a lot of these videos, again, are privated. We did a lot of Call of Duty, Black Ops 2 zombies content. We did a lot of it. We were super influenced by, the Markipliers, the PewDiePies, the Captain Sparkles, but also the syndicates, the Syndicate Project, and Waffles, and all these like zombie streamer content creators as well, because we really like the game, and we were like, hey, we're not that good at it, but we can be funny. We can be stupid and funny over top of gameplay. So Aiden's parents actually bought him a camcorder first, and we used that to record videos on, which is why the quality was so bad. We didn't have a tripod. We didn't have a capture card. We literally would take belts, rubber bands, pieces of rope, and we would tie them around the backs of chairs and point the camera that was a rubber band to the back of a chair, and we would put that facing the TV, is basically how we did it. And it was super, super shoddy. And we started doing this in the summer of 2013. So I would say, we started maybe in May. School was dying, or May or June, school was dying down for us. We weren't doing a whole lot because it was the end of the school year, and we decided to do it. And so we started recording videos. We didn't edit them. They were really bad. We didn't know really what we were doing. We didn't even know how to really upload them. We just had them. And then we asked more of our friends, Christian, who, like I said, was at the time Anna, and my friend David L., and Aiden's older brother Lucas, if they wanted to be involved with the YouTube channel, which is when the June 30th, 2013 video came out, which is the StevensvilleGamers intro, which is us sitting on my old couch in my old basement in the house that I moved into and where I met all of these friends. And so our story kind of begins there, where we sit down on this couch and we all explain the ideas that we have for content creation. From there, throughout 2013, we posted a ton. And I got a laptop. I got a MacBook Air because it was required of the private school that I was going to have a MacBook. I don't exactly in retrospect, I don't exactly know why it was specifically a MacBook. But the high school that I graduated from required all students to have a MacBook. And it was a private school, so we were already paying money to go to the private school. So I guess they assumed that we had money because we were paying for the private school and then we could afford a MacBook. But that's besides the point. I had a MacBook and we created a YouTube account. We created a YouTube channel thankfully it was under my email, which kind of comes into play later. It was under my email address because I had an email address as well, because I was going to this private school and they're like, you need a MacBook, you need an email address, you need a Facebook account to join, our Facebook summer reading program groups. So I had this email to make a Facebook to join these summer reading groups for high school. So I had the Gmail account, and at this point in time, this is 2013, YouTube had already been bought out by Google, I believe. And so it was interlocked and intertwined from the get-go. So we started uploading tons and tons and tons of videos, and they're super bad. Scrolling through, you will see just tons of the zombie videos, which I was talking about. I personally also did solo Let's Plays of a game called Generator Rex. We also had Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels that we would film by passing the camera back and forth. We had dumb little vlogs. Aiden would do a lot of dumb vlogs because his family would go on trips and he would vlog the trips. And so for the majority of 2013, it was this Generator Rex content, Aiden traveling vlogs, and me and Aiden sitting down playing some Call of Duty Zombies with the occasional sprinkle of some weird stuff. Like there was like a marble track video where, we put together a marble track and we filmed a marble going down, and we thought that was interesting enough to put on YouTube. Dude, I don't know. So this goes on for quite some time throughout 2013. Tons and tons of videos, like videos almost every single day being posted on YouTube. June, July, again, same type of content. I then started playing this game called Boom Blocks. If anybody remembers that game. And then my dad got involved. And my dad was like, hey, I see you guys are doing this, and it's the summer, and that's awesome that you're doing this. Why don't I give you some games that I enjoyed as kind of a teenager? And these are some old games, let me tell you. One of them being a Mummy, Tomb of the Pharaoh. So I started playing Mummy, Tomb of the Pharaoh. We still had Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff. And just vlogs and gaming content that was poorly recorded and not even edited. And then we had a video called How Animals Move, because there was recently, at that time, a video posted by somebody, I would consider it a viral classic, of a video called How Animals Eat. And so we were like, let's be funny and do like a How Animals Move. And it's a 3-minute sketch that's still live on the channel that you can watch. And it's just us being idiots, kind of mimicking that style of video. And at the time, none of our videos were getting any views, but we had so much fun doing it. We just kept posting random shit. And it was super fun. But this actually got, I don't know, it got like 30 views. And we were like, holy shit, this got 30 views, dude. Dude, we got to do more of this. So after that, we started doing more sort of sketch. I wouldn't say sketch comedy because it was bad, but more sketch related content interspersed with just gaming videos day after day after day. Call of Duty Zombies, all of this stuff, tons and tons of the same types of content. And this would go on for quite some time. There was multitudes of games that we would play. We started picking up Magic the Gathering as well. We did a whole hour-long video of us doing dumb random challenges that we did. We started playing Madden. We did all kinds of dumb stuff. We did, and then the first appearance of Cricket, which is my dad, was in a game called Green Moon. And Green Moon was a super fun Flash game that was the first thing that my dad was involved in, and started going by the alias Cricket, which if you watch some very old videos, he's still in them, and he, still wants to do and is interested in the content that I'm making, which is awesome. So I kind of had family support right from the get-go. But yeah, we would try to stay up to date with all kinds of challenges. When Flappy Bird started getting big, we did a Flappy Bird video. But keep in mind, all of these videos just were not the best quality of videos. And, at the same time, we are now in high school, and we're now into 2014. Again, still posting a lot of the same stuff, not even custom thumbnails. My sister has entered the fray. She has started making videos on the channel on the game Ratatouille, which, the movie Ratatouille, they came out with a game as well. She was playing that. She was also playing a game called Skate City Heroes, which, was just some Wii skateboarding game that we had that was pretty fun. And again, the gaming videos, the vlogging videos, the card game content, there was just tons of the card game content as well. Still challenges, all this kind of stuff. We started doing update vlogs. We did the Ice Bucket Challenge. Like every 10 subscribers, we would thank people for subscribing. Every 10 subscribers, we were just super excited whenever anything would happen on the channel, which is kind of funny. And in around the beginning of 2015 is kind of when we started doing thumbnails. We started doing thumbnails in 2015 sometimes. And we kind of realized that we'd been doing this for 2 years and we really hadn't gotten anywhere. So we were trying to get even more serious about it. And we were posting even more videos and even more stuff. Again, almost all either vlogs or gaming related or challenges. We did the smoothie challenge when that was getting popular. Still doing tons and tons of updating vlogs. We had a thank you for 50 subscribers. I started playing Final Fantasy. We started playing Mario Kart. We started playing Minecraft. And when we started playing Minecraft for the first time, it was me and Aiden doing a split-screen solo world. And this is the first time that we ever had any sort of capture card stuff. And so the content looked a lot more clean. And this is in 2015, 2 years later after we started. His parents must have bought him an Elgato that we hooked up to his PlayStation 4. No, his PlayStation 4. And we would play Minecraft on the PlayStation 4 and film it through the Elgato. And so that's probably first time our content looked anything remotely, professional. We started doing face cams in a lot of these videos as well because I ended up getting a camera at some point. So we had a camera for the face cam and a camera for the TV screen. And yeah, this type of content, just tons and tons of gaming content, tons and tons of random little vlogs, tons of challenge videos, tons and tons of card game videos. Went on for many, many years. We even there was a YouTube channel that goes by Creative Collective, which I believe is pretty much dead at this point. But they would, put out a forum survey to content creators, and we started becoming a regular on their content creator questions videos, where they would, take submissions of content creators answering questions and edit a video together. Like, what's the most successful social media that you guys use? What is your filming process and video ideation process? And we would film videos and publish them, and then put the links to our videos into the forum for that channel. And people would also, go through and they would make channel trailers for people that people would then get access to, and they could, share it out to their people. And it was a pretty cool idea, but I guess was unsustainable, and they weren't getting enough traction and basically have died off. So, unfortunately, but we were involved with that as well, which was pretty fun. We got a rush, an adrenaline rush, of that, being in videos with other people that was being hosted by a completely separate channel. It felt like we were doing something in the community, or in the YouTube community, which was a rush for us. By this point, though, David L. has kind of completely left the picture. We're still friends. I'm 2 years into high school. Well, at this point, we're 2 years into high school, and I'm not really talking to a lot of these people anymore because they've created their own cliques within the public high school, and I really wasn't dealing with it well. So it was kind of a weird time for me personally, because I used to be such good friends with these people and just spent every day, all day in the summer and during the day at school for 4 years with these people. And then out of the blue, these people kind of stopped talking to me, and really my only, friend remaining from that group was Aiden. So by the summer of 2015, which is where I'm kind of at in the timeline in my head, people have kind of left the scenario, and it's basically just become me and Aiden and my sister at this point, and even my sister's videos are few and far between at this point. And the videos with my dad in them are also few and far between, because he's a grown-ass adult and has businesses that he has to manage and work. So those videos were slightly few and far between as well. So yeah, this goes on for quite a while. And then Christian, who originally was part of StevensvilleGamers, had moved on to make content of, at the time, of her own. Now I guess I would say his own. And he had a channel called Onomatopoeia, spelled A-N-N-A, Pia, playing off of, at the time, his name, Anna, which is now their dead name. I apologize if this gets a little confusing. when you don't, personally know these people. So yeah, and we started doing collaborations with him, her at the time, and that was always really fun as well. So that's kind of the first collaboration, because that was kind of big in 2015, 2016 eras, all the collaborations and stuff. And we did a drawing YouTubers challenge and all of these kind of stuffs. And we also tried to do as much of the sort of scripted content as we could as well, because that we found to be super, super fun. So we actually had a video called when they don't stack the deck right, which was a joke, a spoof, a parody, if you will, on the way that the Yu-Gi-Oh anime was portrayed, and how the whole joke of the heart of the cards and kind of playing off of that, which was really fun and funny. And retrospectively, doing these more scripted, acted out, content-driven pieces definitely kind of paved the foundation for me to want to go into film in general, which will come into play a little bit later. But we did some more of these scripted videos, as well as the vlogs and the gaming, and all of this stuff kind of continues to go all throughout 2015. Kind of the same games. We're kind of gaining a little bit of traction. These videos are starting to get a little bit, a little bit of traction. It's getting fun. We're starting to do a whole bunch of different stuff. I started playing Hearthstone in 2016. We are now into 2016, and I started playing a game called GoldenEye 007 for the Wii. And GoldenEye 007, the first episode came out February 13th of 2016. And since the How Animals How Animals Move video, we didn't really have anything that blew up, even though I know 30 views isn't blowing up. But in that time, it was still getting views and over these years. But all of a sudden, for some reason, this game and this content blew up for some reason. When our videos were getting like 4 or 5 views, this got like 15 views. And this was me and my dad, who went by Cricket on the channel. We played this game. This is the game that we played together the most. And also in this time frame, another individual. Well, we'll get this. Well, not yet. We'll get to that soon enough. Yeah, I apologize. There is another individual, or another set of individuals, I should say, that have joined the fray of StevensvilleGamers. And they go by, let's call them Ryan and David C, because there's 2 Davids in the span of the channel's lifetime. But these individuals came into our lives really randomly and in my opinion, kind of interestingly, if I do say so myself. And so let me tell you a little story about an individual named Doy. D-O-Y. So me and my friends, Aiden, David L, and myself, were all playing, and possibly Lucas at the time, we're all playing Yu-Gi-Oh! On the back porch. And my dad, I believe, is mowing the lawn in the front yard, and he sees an individual who's probably in his late teens, maybe early 20s. We found out that at the time he was 18 or 19, I believe. And he's walking around the neighborhood with a briefcase in the middle of the summer. And my dad asks, hey, what's up, man? Like, what are you doing? Being a good citizen and trying to figure out why this dude with a briefcase is walking around a neighborhood full of kids. And he's like, I'm looking for someone to duel. And retrospectively, my dad was said that he was thinking in his head, like some sort of old Western style gun duel or some crazy stuff like that. But in fact, he was actually walking around with a briefcase full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And this, at the time, was probably 2014. We were probably freshmen in high school, still really trying to keep the friendship together, even though we were going to different schools. And that's just kind of how it was. And we would, on the weekends, play Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and video games all together on my back porch, usually. And so then he said, well, my son and a couple of his friends, this is my dad, talking to Doi, who is some nameless dude on the street with a briefcase. He's like, hey, my son and his friends are in the backyard on the back porch playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because he explains, no, I'm not trying. I'm trying to look for a duel. And my dad says, what kind of duel? And Doi says, a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel, in which my dad invites him to go to the backyard. So he walks around to the backyard, and we're like, who is this? Mom, who's in the kitchen at the moment, making potentially lemonade or something like that for me and my friends and my sister on the weekend. Hashtag blessed with the mom who would make us all lemonade and shit like that. We're like, hey, Mom, you know who this dude is who walking around the backyard? And she's like, no. And so she yells out like, hey, what are you doing in the backyard? And he's like, oh, I talked to your husband in the front yard, and he said that, you guys are playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Out here, and I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And my mom's like, oh, okay. So my dad must have seen him and invited him to come to the back. And so, for the rest of the day, Doi hung out with us and kind of became part of our friend group for a couple of years. And Doi, unfortunately, never really did anything on the channel, and after maybe 2 years, we kind of all lost contact with him, and we're still not entirely positive what happened to him. He had a lot of issues mentally and in his family and all that kind of stuff. So we're not really sure what happened to him, and we all lost contact after about 2 years. Probably 2016, 2017. But he did introduce me to still two of my very, very good friends, Ryan and David C. And Ryan and David C. then became really prevalent figures or people on the channel. Ryan played Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering. David was just kind of along for the ride, hanging out. He usually was playing some old school game on his Game Boy or on his DS or his PSP, while we all played Yu-Gi-Oh! And we all hung out and talked and stuff. And Ryan was the first one to... Or no, David was actually the first one to join the StevensvilleGamers channel. and we started playing The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess in February of 2016. And this series is actually still live on the channel. There is some videos as old as 2016 that are still up and live on the channel. Some of the stuff. Around 2016, 2017 is where I got nitpicky and started letting some stuff go and still be on the channel. So yeah. So these two individuals enter the fray in 2016. Ryan is playing Left 4 Dead with me, and he's basically keeping all of our love of card games alive. He's the best player in the group. He just beats all of us with his Yu-Gi-Oh decks, his Magic decks, and we all aspire to be as good as him. And we're all just, he was like a rival in a lot of like the Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic the Gathering videos. But David C., me and him started doing very Game Grumps-esque videos on The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and Sonic Adventures. So we would just film the screen. At this point, almost everything we did had face cam, so it was a little weird originally to not do face cam. But we didn't do face cam. We just had the screen and us talking over it. Very Game Grumps-esque. At the same time, around this same time as well, we started doing lightsaber battles. Because we were all pretty into they were pretty into Star Wars. I myself wasn't super into Star Wars as much as they were. But Ryan and David had tons of lightsabers. And I was more interested, and I was learning, due to my martial arts career, swordsmanship with katanas and swords and stuff. And I still probably can pick up a stick and wield it around like a sword, like some sort of weeb nerd. But that's besides the point. So we also started doing these lightsaber battles, which are still also on the channel that you can go find. You got to go way back in the catalog, though, for that. So we did those as well, and we would do it at night, and we would film at night. So then the lightsabers would glow up, and these are stuff from like Vader's Vault and like Saber Duels Online. They were like high grade dueling, fighting, smacking each other in the knee lightsabers, which was really fun. And so that's how David C. and Ryan entered into the fray. So from 2016 and onward, for a while, it was myself, Aiden, my dad, Ryan, and David C. And so moving on, we would do these gaming videos, the vlog videos, the card game videos would all continue for a while, and I would occasionally do a boyfriend-girlfriend tag with someone who I was dating at the time, and it would get taken down pretty quickly after that relationship would end. That's besides the point. So from 2015 till about, for a while, from 2013 all the way into the summer of 2016, we are doing the same type of content: gaming, vlogs, and card game and lightsaber related stuff. At this point, we're still doing, updating vlogs. We now have thumbnails that I would make in PowerPoint. I would basically make these thumbnails in PowerPoint, and I made thumbnails in PowerPoint all the way up till probably 8 or 9 months ago, honestly. So yeah, this content would continue on for quite a while. All the way through high school. which is 20 no, not 2019, all the way till 2017. And we did one more live action thing, which you can still find on the channel, which is the Pokemon Go in real life. That was really fun as well. And we're in the fall of 2016 now, and a lot of these videos are still live. So the back catalog on the channel goes as far back as 2016. So now we're starting to get into some stuff that is still on the channel, actually. We also started doing some board games with my dad. My dad wanted to try to do a board game series because we were doing the card game stuff. So we also had that going for us as well. I guess that's another thing that we would do. And the story kind of remains the same for quite a while, all the way through the summer of 2017. And by this point in time as well, though, interestingly enough, Aiden has kind of been removed from the picture. Aiden has kind of been removed from the picture, not due to force, but due to his own more, I would say, family situation. So the end of 2016, it's kind of turned into myself, Ryan, David C., and my dad. And these times, I think, probably in 2017, were the most exciting and fun times for a while. I got that wrong, I think. I think Aiden was more out of the picture by the end of 2016, the beginning of 2017. That's my bad. Once again, due to his own family stuff and his own, personal reasons. By this point, Ryan is also doing his own solo series on the channel of a Halo game. Me and David are branching out and doing more games. I had met my friend Jacob, who goes by Kararak. Me and him were doing Hearthstone-related content. So he was also on the channel a little bit. He would eventually become my editor as well, which is a little bit later down the line and way more recently. But you're all wondering, I'm sure, we don't see these people. We don't see Ryan. We don't see David C. anymore. Your dad isn't on the channel. When does Fred come into play? When does the infamous War Crimes Uwu man himself come into play? And this is when I go to college. On August 27th of 2017, there is a video that is now privated that is called I'm in College. And from here on, the videos that I uploaded, and almost all of these videos from 2017, because it was only 3 years ago, are still public. You guys can go watch these if you want on the channel. But basically, August of 2017 is when I went to Berea College. And this is when I also started live streaming as well. So yeah, That's when I started live streaming, and I live streamed on YouTube first. But let's get into let's say the Fred saga. The Fred saga started on September 14th, 2017. And by this point, because I was in college, I had created a new group of friends that was at Berea College. Aiden has been long out of the picture for probably a year and a half, almost 2 years at this point. David C has kind of been removed from the picture of Stevensville Gamers because I wasn't in Maryland anymore to record. Ryan is kind of been removed because he has joined the Army. So by the time I was going to college in the summer and the fall of 2017, the channel had been dwindled down to myself, my dad, and David C. And by the time August rolled around and I was in college, it was just myself with some remnants of pre-recorded videos with those guys. I am still friends with all of these people. I would like to interject here as we move into the more recent saga of Stevensville Gamers. I'm still friends with David C. I talk to him on a regular basis. I still talk to Christian every once in a while, who was Anna at the time, now Christian. And I still talk to David L. every so often as well. Aiden, unfortunately, due to his own circumstances, I really don't talk to him anymore. Same with Lucas, which is unfortunate. And I won't go into why in that story. That's a little too personal for me to share on this sort of platform. And of course, I'm still talking to my dad and my sister because it's my dad and my sister. I'm living with them now, so I can't not talk to them. But anyway, let's transition. Let us transition into February 14, 2017. $150 scooter versus $30 scooter. We went to Walmart because there's nothing else to do in Berea, Kentucky, and we bought a Razor scooter, and I had a Phoenix scooter, Phoenix Scooters scooter, which I still have bits and pieces of to this day in a storage unit in Cincinnati right now. So yeah, that is the first video ever that Fred has been involved with. And me and Fred kind of became super, super good friends throughout that year of college, which has been, which was insane. Like it was nutty. My year at Berea was super crazy. This is also when we started to have merch, and this is when we started doing the Magic the Gathering unboxing and pre-releases, which are always really fun. I wish I could do more of them. And so I continued to make the normal type of content that I had been making for years and years and years, just by myself. And I would make this content for the better part of the first semester of me being at Berea College. And you might be wondering, when did you start live streaming then? And I started live streaming almost as soon as I got to Berea College, because I kind of found out and figured out that that was a thing. And I was getting super into Hearthstone at the time as well. This is the time of Kobolds and Catacombs, if people pay attention to that stuff. And kind of following along with the Hearthstone years. And so the first ever gaming live stream was actually when we got back from winter break. So I messed up. I apologize. I made videos the same way I would always make videos all the way up till winter break of 2017. So on January 27th, I did my first ever YouTube live stream on Hearthstone. And so instead of uploading normal videos, this is when we started doing the live streams. And Fred would join these live streams soon after I started because he wanted to be involved with the shenanigans, with the fun, with all of that kind of stuff. I had videos, though, scheduled out all the way into the spring of 2018, though. We would be, and this is when Fred has joined the fray much, much more prevalently, is 2018. I apologize now if there is a little bit of background noise. It has been way, way too hot here, and I needed to turn the air conditioning back on for the sake of myself and my cat. So I apologize if there's a little bit of background noise. But basically, as I was saying, Fred has joined the fray pretty prevalently in the fray in 2018. And I continued to make videos all through 2018 with Fred at Berea College. And this goes all the way to the end of the Berea College situation, I would say. And basically, I got kicked out of Berea College. I was academically dismissed. So there was a year of streaming with Fred, and after that, it was over. I had been kicked out from Berea College. I had to go home. I didn't know what I was going to do next. The YouTube channel obviously had not taken off or anything like that. And I didn't really know what to do, which is when we kind of entered the Cincinnati phase of my life and the channel in general. So basically, I miraculously managed to get into the Art Academy of Cincinnati, which is where and when I moved to Cincinnati. I lived in the dorms in downtown Cincinnati. We were right in the heart of over the Rhine, and it was awesome. It was super fun. I did a lot of self-reflection over that summer. I did a lot of realization. Realized that I really wanted to go into art, but Berea was free. Berea is a tuition promise college, which was super, super enticing to me and my family. I had to take a sip of water there. But because I went back home for a decent amount of time, I was able to rejoin with the boys. And there was a resurfacing of David C. and Ryan and now Chris in these videos, which was the lightsaber dueling videos. We did some karate videos, which I don't know if they're public or not. And then there was also some more of the Sonic, and there was some more Legend of Zelda. And so this is when things kind of get a little muddy and complicated, and I would live stream, and I would make highlights of those live streams, and I would live stream from the dorm room of this I would live stream from the dorm room of Art Academy of Cincinnati. And this kind of started in around probably in around September of 2018. Sorry, lost my train of thought. In September of 2018, I started live streaming from the dorm room of the Art Academy of Cincinnati. And I would stream there I would live there for one school year. And after that school year, we had to find our own living situations. And that is basically all the way through to summer of 2019. And in the summer of 2019 is when I was kicked out of the dorms, because all freshmen are kicked out of the dorms, so don't worry about it. It's not like I got kicked out or anything. It's just because all freshmen have to find other housing in Cincinnati, and that freshmen are the only people who are allowed to have dorm rooms at the Art Academy of Cincinnati, because it's such a small school and because they have such limited dorm room space. So there's that explanation. And so I needed to find a place to live, but I didn't really have much money, so I went and I lived in my grandparents' house in Gary, Indiana. And at this time, I had been streaming and still doing videos for a while. Fred would come up and visit me in Cincinnati, and we would stream and record just a ton of stuff, tons and tons of stuff. It was super fun. Hearthstone was like my bread and butter of 2019, which is, believe it or not, only a couple months ago, which is crazy. But the big thing that happened in 2019 was the transition over to Twitch, which was super, super fun. So I stopped streaming in, like I said, March of 2019 on YouTube. I stopped streaming on YouTube May. It was May 2019. And then I maneuvered over to Twitch in that summer. And within that summer, I had also reconnected with friends. So I ended up having a editor for the first time, which was my friend Kararak, who I had been friends with and had been doing Hearthstone content a little bit back in the day, and he said that he would edit. So we started having an editor, and that lasted for literally like a month, barely any time at all. And all of a sudden he disappeared, and I really haven't talked to him since, and this is about a year ago now, which is unfortunate, and I still don't really have an explanation on why he stopped talking to me, but that's besides the point. And the summer of 2019 is kind of the StevensvilleGamers as you know it. That's kind of when it started. I did a lot more. So I exclusively live streamed, and I turned those live streams into videos on YouTube, which is exactly what I'm doing now. And yeah, that's kind of the situation for the summer of 2019. And then, though, all of a sudden, sceneries switch once again. And when I mean scenery switch, I mean I moved into an apartment. I moved into an apartment in the middle of August of 2019 with my best friend and in the past on and off girlfriend that I met in Cincinnati at the Art Academy of Cincinnati. And so from here, things get a little bit interesting and wacky. I started streaming on Twitch in 2019. I moved into the apartment of August 2019. We lived together in that apartment from about August till about December of 2019, which is when I got into a lot of let's say dumb young adult trouble with debt and renters and all of this kind of shenanigans. And this is kind of when I had a little bit of a breakdown, and I really stopped doing anything on the internet for quite some time in 2019. Videos stopped on September 20th, 2019. And from September till January 6th, there was only 3 videos. One posted on November 6th, one posted on December 11th, and one posted on December 12th. And within that September to end of December months, I was dealing with this renting issue, trying to be an adult. I was going to school. I was working a part-time job, trying to be an adult, live on my own, and live with this person who I'm still friends with, but really wasn't a good fit. And we were just young. We are still young, but we were young and dumb and didn't know what we were doing. We were living on our own for the first time. I was in a weird relationship at the time for the majority of that. She was in bad relationships for the majority of that time. There was money being spent where there wasn't supposed to be money being spent. There was issues left and right, and eventually all came crumbling down for the first time in this time period. She then moves out in December, and she takes a leave of absence from the Art Academy of Cincinnati in December, in this winter Christmas break time period, which is when I kind of stopped doing anything on the internet for quite a while. And thankfully, with my parents and my grandparents' help, I was bailed out of this renter's debt situation. And then videos start to commence once again in January of 2020. And these videos go from January 2020 and just continuously go all the way up until present day. And 2020, I have been very, very, very consistent with videos, and I'm kind of proud of that, and that's very awesome. And I started using Photoshop for thumbnails in March of 2020, so my game has stepped up. In this time period, of course, COVID strikes. And of course, COVID just wrecks everyone's shit, including mine. And by the end of February, beginning of March, I don't have a job, and I don't have a way to pay for rent. And once again, I get into some trouble. I get into some issues. And unfortunately, I tried my hardest to stay in Cincinnati with my girlfriend, who I'm still with to this day, which is Tabby. I like how I'm saying till this day. It's only been like 5 months. And I'm doing all of this, and I try to stay, and eventually it just kind of all comes crumbling down in about April. And in April, we come to the conclusion that Tabby will have to get a place of her own, because she tried to go home to where she lives and live with her parents, and due to family situations, she could not really handle that. So she then came back to live with me in the apartment that I was still living in, same apartment that we had the issues with before when I was living with my friend Macy. And it came to the point where we were like, you're gonna have Tabby had to find her own place, and I was going home. And this is in April of 2020. And so I am now back in Maryland by April 2020. And this is now 2 months ago. And because of this, everything was crazy, and is thankfully leveled out a little bit now. And that brings us to current day, which is April, June, July of 2020, which is where I'm now growing on Twitch, thanks to all of you guys. We're growing in community on Discord, thanks to everybody having fun in the Discord. There's tons and tons of more content, more ideas, more stuff in the background that's starting to come to fruition, including this podcast that we are working on, and should be fun to do. And that's kind of where we are now. There's been just a explosion of growth over on Twitch, explosion of growth in the Discord, an explosion of growth on the YouTube channel, and trying to take advantage of all that explosion, trying to make as much content as I can for you guys, trying to make it good and entertaining, and try to roll out some more interesting ideas and more interesting stuff. And yeah, basically the only people who are heavily involved with StevensvilleGamers at this point, though, is myself and Fred, and some people behind the scenes. So yeah, thank you guys for listening to this podcast. Once again, if you guys have ideas for topics that you would like me to talk about in this podcast, that would be absolutely incredible. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications to get notified whenever we post new videos, and make sure to check out all of the links in the description, social media, and Discord and Twitch. Discord is just booming right now. Tons of friendly, awesome people in there, so come join the fun on the Discord. For sure. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. And that'll be all for this episode of the StevensvilleGamers podcast. Make sure you guys keep the all yeah spirit with you. And I will see you in the next podcast in a week. Bye.